Welcome back to How to Lose $1 Billion with FutureNet. Last time we left off, optimism was high. The company was doing great. FutureNet was at its peak.
Stawiamy posty, lajkujemy, udostępniamy, wysyłamy wiadomości, zarabiamy, kupujemy, matryce zapraszamy, znajomych FutureNet, polecamy i zarabiamy.
But things are about to take a turn for the worse. And no, by worse, I don't mean that. I'm talking about the fall of FutureNet. Now, it's hard to exactly pinpoint where FutureNet started falling apart, but some people would say it's when AdPro 2.0 came out. And as part of that, they shut down the system for development for a very long time and just stopped paying people altogether. Now, obviously, not paying people what you owe them has a way of injecting cynicism into your ecosystem. But another big thing that happened was one of their top promoters, Ryan Conley, really had a falling out with the company. They accused him of cross-promoting other schemes and scams to their users. Now, it's important to know who he is because we're going to be talking a lot about Ryan. So as a way of introduction, here's Ryan introducing FutureNet to a bunch of people in Africa.
You guys listen, please listen. There is a new Facebook out there that pays the people to use it, and it will save all of Africa with you guys knowing about what we're bringing to your country. We're going to show you how to make a lot of money so you do not have to live here anymore. So you guys have food for your children, okay?
Yes, that's Ryan Conley shushing people and telling them that their poverty is no more. They can leave Africa once they join FutureNet.
We're going to show you how to make a lot of money so you do not have to live here anymore.
Now, Ryan's really interesting because he's sort of a breed of fake guru that we have not talked about before. He's not a member of FutureNet by any means in the official sense, but he's what we might call a promoter of schemes and scams. On his YouTube and Facebook, he's constantly promoting new schemes to be a part of, and he's just always hopping from one thing to another. So after cross-promoting a bunch of other scams to his followers on FutureNet, Ryan is actually kicked out of FutureNet because they said they can't have people cross-promoting on their platform, and Ryan goes off, and it's war.
You were the one that started this war, and I'm gonna finish it.
And he admits several really huge things. The first accusation he makes is that the purpose of FutureNet's foundation is just to appease the conscience of Roman and Stefan because they felt bad about how much money they were making.
You told me directly that the only reason why the FutureNet Foundation was created was to make Stefan Morgenstern and Roman Zemian feel good about the amount of money that they have made. How pathetic is that?
Whoa, that's a big accusation. I wonder who he's going to report them to.
Do you have any idea when this information is presented to the United Nations? Do you not think that you guys have never even been to the United Nations at all?
Hey, you guys in the comments right now, I bet you guys have never even been to the United Nations. I bet that's how sophisticated you guys, shows what you know.
The second thing we learned is that Ryan basically admits that the business model is unsustainable.
You really think this is a business model that is going to last forever? You have another thing coming.
And this is the same guy who's telling a group of people in Africa that, this business model is going to save them from hunger.
So you guys have food for your children, okay? There is a new Facebook out there that pays the people to use it.
The Facebook that pays the people. And by the way, we don't just get admissions in this rant, we also get some pretty hilarious moments. One of which is Ryan supposedly knowing the art of war, and so you don't want to go to war against Ryan.
I've listened to the art of war all day long, and I would not engage war against you, honestly, because you are if I did not think I could win, I am throwing my sword at you, just like the Gladiator movie. Are you entertained?
Yes, we are very entertained.
Another thing Ryan Conley accuses FutureNet of is actually embezzling money from their customers and kicking people out and taking over their accounts and taking the money and misappropriating those funds.
I want them to return the millions of dollars that they have stolen. I have proof that these accounts of these millionaires within FutureNet who have been terminated, that they have actually switched out the information, the Bitcoin wallet addresses of these accounts that they have stolen. They have switched out the email address. FutureNet has done this. And they are withdrawing the money out of these accounts, and it's going to other things. We have this all documented.
This was all the beginning of the end. Now, even though Ryan Conley would eventually make amends with the leaders at FutureNet and go back to kind of promoting them, it was all over. Warnings from Poland, which is where Stefan and Roman were based, started coming out about this Ponzi scheme, and as of 2020, the company's basically done. They haven't totally admitted defeat, but nobody's posting to their YouTube channel anymore. Stefan and Roman have basically ghosted everyone, and nobody's really getting paid. Their total collapse is all but certain. Now, from this point, I feel like there are three really important questions to answer, which is what happens to all the people involved? We really have three distinct parties here. We have promoters like Ryan Conley. What happens to them when something like this happens? We have Stefan and Roman, the founders. What happened to them? And we also have basically everyone else, the real victims of this entire thing. The aftermath for Ryan Conley is basically nothing. He's just gonna jump on to the next gimmick, scam, whatever you wanna call it, and he's gonna promote that until that runs into the ground, and then he's gonna promote something else. Stefan and Roman are fine as well. They have loads of money now, and this really wasn't even their first scams. Stefan Morgenstern, he promoted something called One Line Online before this, where he took a bunch of people's money.
My name is Stefan Morgenstern. I am from Germany. Yes, I'm 23 years in the network marketing industry.
And this was just another in a long line of scams. Not to say that they aren't in a little bit of trouble though. They're under investigation in Poland, and according to reports have fled the country using Gambian passports to lay low for a while. But all things considered, because this is sort of an international crime where most of the victims are poor people who don't have money to sue them, they're probably gonna be fine. Honestly, the real victims are everyone else. Everyone who actually bought into this company. I joined a class action lawsuit chat room in order to try to talk to some of these victims, and their stories are absolutely horrifying. FutureNet has absolutely ruined people's lives, whether people invested large amounts of money, small amounts of money. A lot of the effects on people's lives were absolutely devastating. This guy deposited 70,000 euros right as the bubble started to burst with FutureNet, and he says it affected his relationships and ruined his wife's trust in him. This victim lost $300, which may not sound like a lot, but he's from a country where the hourly wage is 30 cents. Which means, according to him, that $300 was 8 months of his savings that he lost. And some people, it didn't just affect monetarily. Reports of suicide started coming out from Korea, and there was a person in the chat room from Thailand who had 2 members of her team commit suicide as well. This was absolutely devastating to people's lives. Now, unfortunately, I wish I could tell you that FutureNet was unique. It's not. Ponzi schemes are super common right now, especially in poor countries where people are desperate to find a way to get ahead. And sadly, the promise of free money is a tempting one, especially when made from promoters like Ryan Conley, who can make these things sound like a sure thing.
And it will save all of Africa with you guys knowing about what we're bringing to your country. We're going to show you how to make a lot of money so you do not have to live here anymore. So you guys have food for your children, okay?
Sadly, however, it's not. And most of these people are like sheep being led to the slaughter. The real wolves are the founders of these companies who end up absconding with a bunch of the money, and people like Ryan Conley who just jump from that platform to the next platform, the next thing that they're gonna promote, pushing more and more people into these disasters. Now, it's not to say that people like Ryan Conley, the people pushing these big scams, are necessarily malicious about it, but their actions have terrible consequences. Because actually, Ryan was actually the one who started the FutureNet class action lawsuit chat room and tried to organize people together. So I consider that to be a good thing, but at the same time, in this chat room where all these victims are, all these people that maybe he brought into the company that ended up losing all this money, Ryan decides that, you know, it may be time for a new opportunity.
I've been working on this project and have identified a technology using augmented reality that could really make us a legitimate business opportunity and make things right with everyone. So I hope you guys do not feel that this is out of place for me to share the information down below. And at 3 p.m. today, I have a phone call with the augmented reality team, Vapor Technologies out of California. It's spelled VAPR. And this would be the perfect fit to replace FutureAd Pro. And in the video, it'll explain the rest of this, what is possible.
And so the cycle begins again. I hope the How to Lose $1 Billion series has served as sort of a guide and a warning to those of you considering joining a Ponzi scheme, because the truth is, they can look super compelling. They can be paying out people for years. In fact, I talked to one FutureNet victim who brilliantly explains why FutureNet caught up so many people into its web.
People put in like crazy amounts because FutureNet ran successfully for like 4 years before it fell. So after like 2.5 years, also the skeptical people were like, yo, it's running. So let's go in, all in. And people put so much money into it.
That's right. Skeptical people end up getting taken in because these things last just long enough to overcome your skepticism. You may not understand how it works, but who cares, because it's paying out exactly until it doesn't anymore and everyone loses their money. I hope you guys stay safe from scams like this. This is far from the last one, and crypto scams are popping up left and right. Please save your money. And as always,
don't forget to smash like and subscribe. Thank you.